So hello students, although we have completed your long form periodic table, along with I have told you about its characteristics, that different blocks, periods and groups, all the things, including the electronic configuration of elements. Unfortunately, I have forgotten to tell you, so very important, that is drawbacks of your Mendeleev's periodic table. Okay, that is drawbacks of Mendeleev's periodic table. Drawbacks, or you can say limitations of Mendeleev's periodic table. So the drawbacks, particularly first one, that is the position of hydrogen was not specified. The position of hydrogen means hydrogen having electronic configuration 1s1. It can be placed in your with alkali metals, that is group 1, having similar configuration, that is ns1 type. Okay, again it also having tendency to gain one electron to achieve the nearest inert gas configuration, that will be 1s2, that is of helium. Is that okay? So since its tendency to accept one electron is more like that of a halogens in group 17 element, configuration is ns2np5. So these elements have also tendency to gain one electron in order to convert it into ns2np6. But it has been placed with so that due to dual characteristics of hydrogen, it has possessed the properties of group 1 metals, alkali metals, as well as your halogens. But still there is no proper position for hydrogen atom. I can write over here, there was no proper position for hydrogen. That clear? Next drawbacks, you can say, since this table was based on the periodic function of atomic masses, although isotopes are the same element, isotopes having different atomic masses. Okay, but still the isotopes are placed in same position, although they have different atomic masses, but they are placed in same position in your Mendeleev's periodic table. So I can write, although isotopes of the same element have different masses but placed in same position. The major drawbacks. Next, third one, dissimilar elements are placed together. Okay, dissimilar elements are placed together. For example, I have told you iron, nickel, cobalt. Iron, cobalt, nickel. Although these are different elements but placed in same position. Next, drawbacks, you can write like this. Although similar elements having similar chemical properties are placed in different positions. Okay, elements having similar chemical properties are placed in different positions. For example, copper, gold are placed in different positions. Next, it cannot explain the periodicity. It could not explain the cause of periodicity. So these are few drawbacks observed in your Mendeleev's periodic table. Clear? Next we will discuss the drawbacks of your long form periodic table or modern periodic table. It has also some major drawbacks. Just focus it. Drawbacks of long form periodic table. That is again, the position of hydrogen was not specific. Okay, although hydrogen resemble with alkali metals as well as halogens, but still it was placed with alkali metals. So position of hydrogen was not specific in long form periodic table also. Next, that is position of lanthanoid. You know, position of rare earth elements, that is lanthanoids and actinoids are not in proper position. And next, the most important drawbacks, that is according to electronic configuration, since elements are arranged similar, elements having same valence shell configuration are placed in same groups. So here in case of helium having configuration 1s2, so it should be placed in with the group 2 alkaline earth metals having NH2 configuration, but still it is placed in P block. Okay, that's the major drawback. Helium having configuration 1s2 still was placed in P block with noble gases. So these are the drawbacks found in your long form periodic table. Clear? So next we will discuss very important, that is how can we predict the period and group and the block, from which block the element belongs. That's very important. That is prediction of period, group and block in which an element is present. That's very important. First, the procedure, first you have to write down the electronic configuration of the element then identification of a block first, it correspond to the last electron enters into which subcell, the last electron enters into which subcell, that correspond to your block. Suppose the last electron enters into S subcell, that will be S block. P subcell, that will be P block. D block. Likewise. Third one, the identification of period. It corresponds to highest principal quantum number, that is n, maximum n, that will correspond to your period. And next one, that is group, very important at the end, group. How can you predict the group? If the element belongs from S block, then the number of electrons present in NS subcell gives its group number. How can you? If you see the configuration is NS1, so the group is first group. If it is NS2, the number of electron is S subcell, that is 2, so the group number is 2. Likewise, for P, if the element belongs from P block, then group number, that is equal to 10 plus the number of electrons present in the valence shell, that is NS/Np. Okay, for example, if the valence shell configuration like this, NS2Np3, then from which group it belongs? You just add 10 plus 3 to 5, that will be 15, group 15. Is that clear? We will discuss 3 examples, don't worry for that. Next, if the element belongs from your D block, then the sum of electrons, okay, if the element belongs from D block, that is a transitional element, then the sum of electrons present in n-1d and ns gives its group number. For example, if I consider, suppose I am asking you a question, that is lithium belongs from which period, which block and which group. So you just write down first its electronic configuration, that will be Li3 1s2 2s1. That clear? So first you just identify period that correspond to highest principal quantum number, that will be 2. So this is second period. Clear? Then block, you just see the last electron enters into which one? The valence shell, that is 2s. Last electron enters into 2s, so that the block is s block. Next one, that is group, and I have told you, once you have predicted from which block, then easy to identification of group. So since this is NS1 configuration valence shell, that is NS1, so this one is an alkali metal. So how many electrons are there? Only one. So group, that will be first group. Is that clear? Let's say I am considering, let's say aluminum 13. So you just write down its configuration: 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s2 3p1. That clear? So now period, tell me, period correspond to highest value of n, that will be 3p. So this one is valence shell, highest value of n, that is equal to 3 principal quantum number value, that is 3. So period, that will be third period. Then tell me the block, last electron enter into p, so block will be p block. Is that clear? For p block, I have told you how can you predict its group number, that will be 10 plus number of electrons present in valence shell. So this is third cell, outermost cell, 2 plus 1 3, so that will be group number 13th group element. Clear? Suppose I am considering so in case of a transitional element, like let's say I am considering this chromium having atomic number 24. So its configuration after in noble gas core argon 18, that will be 3d5 4s1. Clear? So first period correspond to highest value of principal quantum number, that is 4. So it belongs from fourth period. Next group, block, first one, that is block. Let's say block, you see the last electron enter into 3d, 3d1 3d2 3d3 3d5, likewise 3d. So block, that is clearly it is d block element. Okay, so next, that is very important, group. In case of transitional element, you just add the number of electrons present in n-1 into d and ns. This one is ns and this 3d, that will be n-1 into d. So number of electrons 5 plus 1, so you just 5 plus 1, that is equal to 6. So sixth group you can see. Likewise, if anybody ask you question like the element having atomic number this one and belongs from which group, you can predict in this manner. That clear? So further we discuss that periodicity in properties. Okay, that is general trend in periodic properties. General trend in periodic properties. So first property, that is your atomic radius. Atomic radius. So you know, since atom is very smallest in size, and genuinely if I consider atomic radius, what you will observe over here? This one is nucleus and this one is electron. So here from center of the nucleus to electron, that is called your atomic radius. But in fact, you know, due to very smallest size of an atom, and this electron is very negligible, and according to Heisenberg's principle, I have told you, the position of electron is not specific, so it is very difficult to measure the exact distance from the nucleus with respect to valence electron. So however, we can calculate this atomic radius whenever the atom is in combined state, or when atom is joined with any other atom through bonding interactions and exist as a molecule. At that moment we can calculate we can predict the radius of an atom. Clear? So on the basis of that principle, that idea, first we will define, that is your covalent radius. Covalent radius. Covalent radius. It is the 1/2 of internuclear distance between two atoms joined together by a covalent bond. Joined together by a covalent bond. That clear? So two atoms, let's say they overlap to form a covalent bond like this. Here this is nucleus, this one is nucleus, and the half of the distance between these two, this half of the distance of this one, internuclear distance, that is called your covalent radius. This one is your R covalent. Is that clear? So this is covalent radius. And again this one is for your homoatomic molecule. For example, if I consider two hydrogen atoms, H2 molecule, this one is one hydrogen, this one is one hydrogen, nucleus. If I measure their covalent radius, half of internuclear distance, so this much, this is R covalent. And from X-ray crystallographic data, the internuclear distance in hydrogen is 74 picometer. So R covalent will be 74 upon 2, so that will be 37 picometer. This is for hydrogen. Okay, this is covalent radius. And in case of this is homodiatomic molecule. Two hydrogen atoms are same. In case of heterodiatomic molecules, heterodiatomic molecule means, let's say, consider HCl, H, and this one is Cl. This one is hydrogen, Cl. Then this is called internuclear distance, that is DHCl, I can say, because hydrochloric acid is a molecule, so DHCl. Okay, so DHCl I can write, DHCl, that is equal to radius of hydrogen plus radius of chlorine. So how can you predict the covalent radius of any species? Suppose I need to calculate radius of hydrogen atom, that will be internuclear distance of HCl minus radius of chlorine. Similarly, if I need to calculate radius of covalent radius of chlorine, that will be DHCl minus R of H. So likewise, you can calculate the covalent radius of homodiatomic molecule and heterodiatomic molecule. So next, the second type of radius, that is called van der Waals radius. Van der Waals radius. It corresponds to molecules. Always this word van der Waals, it always corresponds to molecules. So you just see, it is the half of internuclear distance between two adjacent atoms, two adjacent atoms belongs from two neighboring molecules of same substance in the solid state. So two covalent bonding molecules like this one and another like this one. This one is one molecule and this one is another molecule. Is that clear? So tell me, if these two are nucleus, so this radius will be equal to R covalent. And here again also same thing, this is internuclear distance. If I consider this up, this one also R covalent. But here you see, when these two atoms are very closest approach, this one is one molecule just closest to each other. Okay, so here this is nucleus and nucleus, this distance is called internuclear distance. This is your internuclear distance. If I need to calculate, it will be exactly at the point of contact. So this radius will be your R covalent. So generally you see, out of R covalent and R van der Waals and R covalent, which one will be greater? Definitely R covalent will be more, because there is no overlapping there, just molecules are closest approach to each other. So just remember, R van der Waals is greater than R covalent. Clear? So next, another type of radius, that is your metallic radius. Again very easy things. Metal atoms are very closest approach under the sea of electrons. Okay, so metallic radius, it is, I can write R metallic, that is the internuclear distance between two metal ions, two adjacent metal ions in metallic lattice divided by 2, that is R metallic. Again here one thing is clear, that R van der Waals is greater than that of R metallic. R van der Waals is greater than that of R metallics. Okay. Next we will see factors affecting atomic radii. Factors affecting atomic radii. And you know, first one, that is nuclear charge. You know, more the nuclear charge, due to increase in number of protons in the nucleus, more the nuclear charge, more will be the force of attraction with respect to valence electron, so that the atomic size decreases. So I can write over here, more the nuclear charge, very shortly I am writing over here, more the nuclear charge. Okay, again I am also identifying like this, more the nuclear charge, less will be the atomic radii or atomic size, you can say. Next factor, that is number of cells. You know, more the number of cells, more will be the atomic size, more will be the distance from the nucleus to the valence shell. So I can write over here, more the number of orbits, more will be the atomic size, and next, that is variation of atomic radii along a period and group. Okay, variation of atomic radii along a period. As you know, if you move from left to right, nuclear charge increases. So due to increase in nuclear charge, the force of attraction with respect to valence shell also increases. So atomic size go on decreasing from left to right along a period. Okay, so atomic size or atomic radius go on decreasing from left to right in a period. Next, what about group? You know, from top to bottom the number of cell increases. So due to increase in number of cells, the distance of the valence shell from nucleus also increases. Consequently, the atomic size also increases. Okay, so down the group, the atomic size increases due to increase in number of orbits, or you can say cells. So this is about the trend in atomic radii. Clear? Next we will see next periodic property. So next, that is periodic property is your ionization enthalpy. Second periodic property, very important, ionization enthalpy, or you can say ionization energy. Energy required to ionize an atom. Okay, suppose a neutral atom is there and you just remove one electron from its valence shell by supplying energy is required. Okay, so by removing an electron from the valence shell, then it is converted into its cation, because the loss of electron is there, we are removing an electron from valence shell. So that amount of energy, that minimum amount of energy, that is called ionization energy. The minimum amount of energy, required to remove an electron from the valence shell of a neutral gaseous atom, to convert into its monovalent cation is called its ionization energy. Or ionization enthalpy. Energy required to ionize. The neutral gaseous atom means, in a glass tube you are considering during cathode ray experiment, the gaseous form of substance is present in the tube. Okay, so in case in gaseous form, an atom of an element can easily loses its valence electron. So the removal of electron is easy in gaseous form. That's why I have written over here neutral gaseous atom. For example, if I consider any element A, that must be present in which form? Gaseous form. So you are supplying energy to it, that energy is called ionization energy. Then what happens? An electron from the valence shell of A get removed by supplying this much amount of energy. So that will be converted into A plus gas due to loss of one electron. So that will be plus one electron. That's clear. For example, if I consider sodium, not solid, sodium gas. If it is in solid, then you have to heating it up to its sublimation. That is called heat of sublimation. Solid to gas. You are supplying ionization energy, then it will be converted into Na plus gas, plus 1 electron, loss of 1 electron by supplying this much amount of energy. That is called your ionization energy. I have considered a neutral atom, then it is converted into unipositive. Unipositive means monopositive, one positive is there. That clear? Next, this is the definition of your ionization energy and its unit. Since this is energy, unit is electron volt per atom, or you can consider kilojoule per mole. Okay, likewise these are the units of your ionization enthalpy. So next important concept, that is factors affecting ionization energy. Factors affecting ionization energy. First one definitely that is nuclear charge, you know. So more the nuclear charge, more will be its tendency to attract the valence shell electron. So if valence shell electron is held tightly by the nucleus, then more amount of energy is required to remove from its valence shell. That's why I can write, more the nuclear charge, more will be the amount of energy requirement. So ionization energy will be more. So more the nuclear charge, more will be the value of ionization energy. Clear? So along a group, if I consider along a group, factors affecting ionization enthalpy, one is your nuclear charge, and the next factor, that is atomic size. अभी पढ़ा है मैंने atomic size. Clear? So here you see, more the value of atomic radius or atomic size, the outermost electron will be more away from the nucleus, that is under the very less influence of nucleus. So removal of electron requires small amount of energy. That's why I can write atomic size is inversely proportional to your ionization energy. मतलब साइज जितना बड़ा होगा तो फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू द वैलेंस शेल ऑल्सो बी मिनिमम. ओके, एंड डेफिनेटली the value of ionization energy also inversely proportional to your atomic size. That means more the distance of electron from the nucleus, that will be less interaction with respect to nucleus due to more distance. Okay, so that's why more the value of atomic size, very lesser will be the value of ionization enthalpy, because it is, since it is less under the influence of force of attraction, less attraction under the nucleus, so you can easily remove it by applying small amount of energy. That's why the atomic size, regarding atomic size is inversely related to ionization energy. More the value of atomic size, lesser will be ionization enthalpy, and it's vice versa. Clear? Next factor on which your ionization energy depends, that is screening effect. that is called screening effect. Screening effect. Screening effect means if number of you just consider this one as your nucleus, is that clear? And this one is orbit in which electrons are circulating around nucleus. So screening effect means, so it is under the influence of a nucleus. If the number of cells, inner cells becomes more, then also definitely number of electrons are also be more. Okay, so due to presence of these inert electrons, the nuclear force with respect to this electron decreases, because this attraction is right now utilized with this electron, this electron, this electron and this electron. Okay, so here one thing I can say, the nuclear force of attraction decreases due to presence of inner electrons, that is called screening effect. The effect by which nuclear force of attraction, the effect by which the nuclear force of attraction decreases due to presence of inner electrons, that is called screening effect. Okay, so regarding screening effect, the screening effect of S is greater than P is greater than D is greater than F. You just remember. So S, suppose an electron is present in S orbital, it is more penetrating towards nucleus, it is more under the attraction of a nucleus, then phosphorus, then then P block, then P subcell, then D subcell, and the next one, that is your F subcell. Is that clear? Next, ionization energy of elements present in group 18. Tell me, group 18 having configuration NH2 NP6, fulfilled configuration. So they don't need to lose any electron from this cell, and then again also gaining of electron is difficult over here because they have complete octet configuration. Okay, so next, regarding this ionization enthalpy, I need to discuss over here, that is your stable half-filled full-filled configuration. You see, if I consider that is in case of zinc 3D10 4s2, this is the configuration of a zinc. Okay, so here you see next, that is there is a word, that is penetration of subcells. Penetration of subcells. Just remember it. S is greater than P is greater than D is greater than F. That means S orbital is more penetrated towards nucleus, then followed by phosphorus. P subcell, next D subcell, next F subcell. This is the penetration of different subcells. So these are the properties on which value of ionization energy depends. Okay. Next you see, for stable configuration, I have told you it is very difficult to remove the electron from zinc, mercury. Okay, let's say it starts with simple. There is some stable configuration, that is stable configuration, either half filled or fulfilled. Okay, so if suppose in case of chromium 24, argon 18, 3d5, 4s1. This d subcell, that is half filled. Oh sorry, this is, it's not like this chromium. Stable electronic configuration, half filled or full filled. Okay, so nitrogen 7, 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. You just see over here, this 2p subcell having 3 orbitals, 1 1 1. So stable electronic configuration is, that is half filled. 2p3, this one is half filled. So half filled are more stable, and if you need to remove the electrons, you have to supply more amount of energy over here. Then you tell me what is the trend in properties of ionization energy from left to right along a period. Increases due to decrease in atomic size and increase in the nuclear force of attraction with respect to valence shell. Is that clear? So this is about the trend in ionization enthalpy along a period, and down the group what happens due to increase in atomic size, the distance of a valence electron from the nucleus also increases, and the force of attraction with respect to valence electron also decreases, so that the value of ionization energy along a group decreases. I can write ionization energy along increases along a period, and ionization energy decreases along a group due to additional cells. Clear?